After 22-year-old Riley Strain mysteriously vanished in Nashville, astrology showed us the direction was away from where searchers were looking.
What I'm getting, just so that you know, in my chart, I know this sounds crazy, but I am getting northwest. Doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of Uranus too, and Aquarius, which can mean fast running water. It's a river. So he's obviously near the river. So might be a good place to look is around this area. Pluto represents trash. With Aquarius is the airport. If there's a lot of high-tech equipment, it could be a recycling type of place. There's also chemicals too.
But even after police considered it accidental, there seems to be more to the story.
Mercury and Neptune is a car wash. I think we're on the right track here.
Tonight we review the clues for Riley Strain.
Mars force. They could have been gay witnesses. There were witnesses. I think there were a lot of witnesses. There is a female involved. We're going to be seeing a female out of this.
And hello, welcome. It's Val Evans, and thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for all your patience during Mercury retrograde and your energy. It helped. I am tonight going over some of the clues that we got before and some other clues that we are going to need to know in order to go forward with the Riley Strain case. It is an odd case, and there are just so many different parts that just don't fit together. So if you're new to my channel, we look at astrological charts and tarot cards to give us clues to crimes and future events. And tonight we will be looking at the astrological clues. Again, this will be the third show for 22-year-old Riley Strain. And the energy is getting crazy there with Mercury retrograde. And in Aries, we've already had attacks on, I think it was the world's central kitchen, and now an earthquake. It's pretty heavy energy tonight. So we're going to do our best because, well, it's important to go over things. And I have a very good feeling for investigators who are looking at evidence, looking at through their files, again, through retrograde. I think something could be found. And great to see you, everyone in the chat. So, all right. So I'm going to actually change my camera. I want to get a couple of cards. And if you've seen the last couple of shows I've done on Riley Strain, I've been looking over them, and some of your clues were amazing. And some of the cards that were pulled was just crazy as well. And so we're going to look a little bit at those past clues, and I've got some insight on what they actually said. All right, so let me put this in here. Okay, so what do we need to know about going forward now that Riley Strain has been found in the area that a lot of us were pointing to? And it just seemed odd at the time. Everyone was just looking around where his bank card was. And something about your intuition, the cards, the charts pointed us into pretty much the exact spot where he was found. Now, what do we need to know? And I'm asking the cards, I'm shuffling. Give us a clue for tonight, the main clue for tonight that we need to know as we talk about these clues, to find out who's behind this, who is the perpetrator, if there was a perpetrator. All right, and okay, we've got that redhead again. Interesting. And also, I mentioned in the intro that there's a female coming in. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean a perpetrator. Sometimes it can just mean maybe as an example, it might be a waitress that's coming in. It's just a witness, or it could be somebody passing by who happened to see him Or maybe someone basically tells investigators, someone with that profile, um, something she knows about the perpetrators. So that's a possibility. Just want to check my audio. I knew my
Audio. Got to double check these things. Hopefully I sound a little bit better right now. And okay. So let's just go through. I just want to say hi to everyone. Darlene, Melanie, Angel, Sassy Hound. Thank you, Toy. Louise, nice to see you. Sherry. Yeah, a lot of us want to go through this again. Darlene, sorry about that. A lot of people on YouTube, I know influencers and YouTubers have trouble with that, so I don't know what happened. Angel D, you're saying that sign of the bridge that says warning 24 hours surveillance. We got bridge a lot. And Melanie, I think it might have been you that said, oh my God, the bridge. It might have been someone else. And they were using different cards. So bridge has come up. I've got a theory about that. Psychic medium Roberto. Thank you so much for helping me with your energy getting on line again. And I really think I did have some kind of I don't there was a force that was telling me to wait. So, Laura K, great to see you. So, Angel D, interesting about the homeless couple. Here is my thought. Okay, so first of all, this was the direction. We'll go back to that. Uh, Here's the crime chart. And you know what's really weird? Uh, this is Riley, Pluto, because Pluto represents the ascendant, which is always the victim. Most of the time, the victim. The descendant is the perpetrator, which would be Venus. So we've got Venus here. What's a little confusing is that Mars, both Mars and Pluto, represent the victim. So right next to Venus here is weird because it's almost like they knew each other in a sense that maybe they saw each other at another bar, or maybe they're having a conversation that's like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing here? Oh, I'm out of town, and all of that. So it's at first maybe a nice exchange, or the perpetrator might just be in the area and there is no stress at first. So I've seen that before. I think it is really important. Everybody's getting so distracted with the homeless area, the area where the bank card is, and the bridge. They're going all around, and then they're also looking where he was found. But I think that there's some more here. There's the part of the story that we don't know, and some of the confusion is why didn't the victim have his pants on? He probably, his family friend said, had a belt on and his shoes were missing, and he takes a size 15 shoe. So that's a hard boot to get off a foot. So my thought is that there is, I think he might have had drugs in his system. I'm going to go all out and say, I think he was drugged. And you saw that CCTV of him, just having such a hard time walking down the street. And there have been a couple of uh, instances. There was one in Dallas recently. And you know what? I think I want to pull that up. Let me just see. It was just recently. Um, he was no pants, I think, no clothes or no wallet. Just meaning to pull it up here. Um, all right. Anyway, let me just read it. I think I have it up on my phone. And the reason it's hard to pull it up um, is because they don't give the guy's name. Let me just see if I can put in the headline. It's pretty weird when you hear this. Okay, so check this out. And what I'm trying to get at here is okay, is that there's a similarity. So let me see if I can hold on one second. Sent screen. Okay, here we go. Thanks for being patient. Okay, I think you can see that. Now, this is not Riley Strain, obviously. This is Dallas Morning News. And when was this? 2017. Okay. Drowning victim walks into pond after crashing stripping in South Dallas, witnesses say. A swift water rescue team recovered the body of the man from a small body of water in the Rochester Park neighborhood. And he intentionally walked into a small body of water in South Dallas after crashing and stripping off all of his clothes Monday night, witnesses told police. Authorities were dispatched. A swift water rescue team recovered the body. He got out of the car. This is, I guess, a witness, acting crazy. And then he ran to the lake and just took off all his clothes, took his wallet out, threw it. Then he just jumped in the lake, and that's all we saw. He appeared to just sink into the water and not resurface until authorities pulled him out. So the witness said he knew what he was going to do. She also said he didn't seem like he was in the right mind at the time. He wasn't himself when he did this. He was on something. So toxicology tests, it says will be completed, but there's no update to this. Now, I'm not saying that, Riley did this to himself. But I am saying that that is one explanation of how his pants could have come off because he was drugged. So I do think that there's a perpetrator. Now, remember, they were saying that his boxers were still on, and yet his shoes and probably his belt and pants came off. So my thought is that maybe he was taking off his clothes because he wasn't in his right mind. And then at that point, perhaps somebody offered to help him, drive him back to the hotel. This could have happened in the park. I know a lot of you think that it could happen in a park. Now, the fifth house is a park, and it's a park by the water. So, absolutely, that could be the case. But here's what we're not really mentioning too much. I've said it a couple of times, but the fifth house, ruled by Pisces, is a gay bar. And so, not saying that he had anything to do with it, but I'm wondering if a perpetrator was frequenting a gay bar at the time, or may have had some kind of, um, I don't know, some kind of interaction with someone from a gay bar. But I think that's a clue here, you guys. What do you think? Interested to hear your intuitive side and or your thoughts. Naomi Sims, I've heard that drugs, especially overdose, will make you feel hot and people start stripping. That makes sense. Yes, I also feel that he was drugged. There have been a lot of these throughout the country since 1997. I did a lot of readings about the smiley face killer, and it was terrifying. Now, there should be a task force on these, what I think are murders. And if there is, they're not doing a good job because this keeps happening. I really do think that this is a serial issue, serial killers. And not to be dramatic, but yeah, Darlene, 15 size foot. You think he was roofied and a concussion from hitting his head 2 times. Well, that's interesting that you say that. I'm glad you brought that up because we have what is Aries? Aries is the head. Chiron is a scar. It is a wound to the head. And then the North Node is extreme, extreme. Now, 17 degrees, that's the Leo degree. And I'm having a trouble putting that together. Leo's the heart and the back. but I do think there's a possibility that there was some kind of injury that maybe it was a small injury that hurt him. So what we're going to do next is we're going to look at this crime chart just one more time before I go over to the map again, because I do have a theory that there's another place where some of the searchers should be looking, and that is for his clothing, as well as people who might have been with him. I know a lot of people here on this channel think that he was taken by car from the park where he was in. So that would explain why there wouldn't be any more CCTV after a certain period of time. Okay. So what I thought is really interesting too is that what they were saying when he was found, okay, so you can see how Saturn is here, and then you can see the sun is right here. And interesting how usually on the crime chart, we'll look at the sun as the co ruler of a perpetrator, which could still give us some kind of clue like when he was found, the perpetrator was not far away from there. But then the other thing too is that his father, which is also represented by son, Riley Strain's father, was right there next to his body. This is Riley's body here. So he was right next to him looking the night before. It's just so heartbreaking to even think about. And did not find him until that worker comes out and helps. So we saw a few things about workers here. Somebody who was, on the job when they found him. And so that would be the sixth house. So sometimes you see certain aspects there when it involves a worker. And then to, let's see, I think the biggest thing here is, Mars squaring Uranus. That's an attack. Okay. So I definitely think that we've got drugs, we've got not feeling good and taking your clothes off because you feel so hot. Leo is hot. So that could be part of the sixth house. This is the health. Okay. Mars is very, very feeling so hot. And interesting how other in that other article, the man threw his wallet. So I don't think he was in the right mind. I think, let's not overthink the clothing part. That's what I'm saying. Let's go back to that restaurant because that's where you are going to find your information. And how tragic would it be if we were only to look, which is what the media, I think, seems to be doing, but I could be mistaken. They seem to just be descending on that homeless camp. Now, where's the homeless in the chart? Well, Saturn and Moon together tend to mean, if it's in poor aspect, um, you can't really see it here, but you can see Saturn and Moon as poverty, and then it is sextiling Jupiter. So that shows there's a lot of poor people or a lot of, basically the chart says poor people, but we say homeless. And they are all around in that fourth house. There, there is a theory about, the homeless being a potential, cause of this. I'm not seeing that directly from this chart. Okay. So, oh, thank you, BS. That is so sweet. Uh, yeah, smiley face, graffiti, and spray paint. Okay, Darlene, if he was unconscious, head hits, he might have stopped breathing, and that would have caused the windpipe to close off so no water got into his lungs. And that's what they're saying. Not necessarily that scenario, but they're saying that it was a dry drowning. But Darlene, I think that could be a possibility there. Hope and happiness. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a bit. And okay, but he walked a while before seeing him on the body cam fully dressed. Right. So could it have been after that? Okay. All right, so let's go to the map here. And I want to suggest a few things, see what you think. And then I want to pull some cards. Now, the other thing too is with the last show that I did, in fact, wait, before I go to I think I have it queued up here. Okay. I want you to look at this. Take a look at the cards that I pulled on this one. Out the location oops. All right. Okay. Are we on the right track when it comes to Riley's final location? Is the location by the Rosa Parks Boulevard? Okay. Knight of Cups. Well, that seems like a yes. Okay. Can you clarify what that might mean with regard to? Well, that would be Leo. That's more Leo energy there. It's like a place where people go. Would it be a place where people go to get married or something? Or I don't know. Is it a romantic place? Romance or something around there. Can you clarify the area near Riley right now where he can be found? Four of Cups. Okay. So at around this time, I think it was a few days, or at the very least a day before Riley was found. But we're getting roses, Rosa Parks. And I've gotten that before because in that crime chart, we saw, remember, there was Saturn and Moon can mean black, Venus can be woman. So black woman can also show a famous woman. So this can show maybe Rosa Parks, who it features in this. Then we get the roses. Okay. So rose, I think, is a clue. But the other thing is that second card had a rainbow on it. And so that might show maybe some kind of, there's a homosexual element here, and whether it's, the bar or something with a rainbow or something like that. Maybe that was a clue. I don't know. So now I'm going to go to the map and I'm going to show you my theory here. Okay, so we've already said that he was northwest because of that first chart. It showed exactly where he went. And there are some people who think that maybe he could have been in maybe this park. And remember, we were talking about Capricorn too. Could he have gone to Victory Park or one of the parks? Maybe it was Nashville Public Square Park. And then at that point, maybe he got a ride. So I really think that here's where the car wash is. Is it possible that something might have happened here and then for whatever reason, he was, either jumped off or dumped off of the bridge? I mean, is this a bridge, number one? So is it possible that, no, he did not, go 8 miles around Cumberland River, even though they said that, of course, the police said this, that the river was pretty swift that night. But is it possible that, I mean, if there's got to be people who would have seen him, but if he was in a car, definitely a lot less people are going to see him. And I think that here's where Rosa Parks ends, right here. So I wonder if this could be a possible clue. So, of course, I didn't show you that. Hold on. Let me say that one more time. I was basically showing the same chart. So, you know, here's where the car wash is, right here. And I think it's possible that this is the bridge here that he basically fell off of. Let's say fell off and then continued down this way. So that's possible. Okay. Oh, Natalie, I think I do have the commercials on. So, yes. Okay. So Naomi says, I saw the interview with the homeless man who saw him fall into the bush. He said he walked on because he thought they were taking care of him. Okay. Yeah. So here's what I think. Again, I really think Rosa Parks. We keep getting roses um in the cards. Let me see. And this is a female with red hair, you guys. Who is that? Who is the female with the red hair? And it looks like now, this is often what happens in a crime chart with the moon so close, that person becomes infamous. So it goes against, the robbery, maybe, maybe the drugging and the different theories. Why would this redheaded woman come in? But maybe the cards are saying that this woman knows. She might not be the perp. Sure looks like it though, because of the seventh house is Venus. Who is this female? So it could have been the start of the events that evening. Got Leo, so much Leo. We look at the MC, which is such a big clue. It's what's going on at the time of the crime. And, that's the sun, that's parks, so that could be a really good clue about a park. So I think that there definitely was some kind of altercation that started the events. Number 2, I think there's a high probability that there was some kind of drug that was going on. Now, was it possible that maybe he was drugged in the bar before the one in which he got kicked out because he only had one drink? But this man, this boy that was walking down the street, that was not drunk. That was drugged, in my opinion. Now, with the eighth house, this is going to show us more of a profile of the perp or perps, and that's in Gemini. So, could be someone young, could be two people. The 20 degrees shows that there could have been, this is Scorpio, so this is a murder. 20 is murder. 20 is also, it's can be jealousy. So we have so much Pluto. And can the investigators solve this? I don't think so. I don't think they can because Mars shows the state of the officers, and it could be for any reason. Maybe they're distracted with all the media. There could be a lot of internal politics going on inside, and it just doesn't seem like they're very strong. It seems as if this family is going to have to rely on a private investigator. That's what I'm getting. Uh, Thank you, Bianca. Yeah, I know. So would I. I know we've been talking. Interesting how the world has been talking about a rose recently. I know we were talking about that, Sassy Hound, in one of the earlier lives about how, it could be somebody famous, but there definitely will be sometimes in these charts we see, okay, well, somebody famous is coming in, and then suddenly, Reba or somebody is going to come on Twitter and give money to the family. That sometimes that can happen, but it's all one theme. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just that. It could be several things that fit that profile. Natalie, you say, I don't think they're going to try too hard to solve it. Too much money, famous influencers, etc. My justice card just flew out reversed. I hope that's not the case. Gig girl, Nashville does not want the bad publicity as it is a tourist town. And good that you mentioned that, because did you notice when the police came out with their report, I believe that it was very, very pared down as far as the information. Uh, Accidental. Uh, I can't remember exactly what, but it was very simple. And I don't know if the toxicology report has come out yet, has it? But even then, some of those drugs that you put in a drink, they leave the system in a few days. So I don't know if I would put a lot of faith in it. Yeah, no foul play. And of course everybody floods uh the comments, no foul play, no foul play. But then what happens? Then the family comes out and says, yeah, but what about, you know, no pants, no belt, no shoes? Well, thank goodness they said something, because would we have found that out? I don't know. All right. So let's pull some cards, and then I can't get over that. We keep getting her. We keep getting the high priestess. So let's see if we can, and the guy with the roses. And remember the last show, I was like, is this romance or something? But I think it's these cards are just as sometimes literal as the chart. They really show something. So there is a redhead. There's a redhead here. Let's see who it is. Will there be justice? That's not going to be a question right now, because it seems as if Natalie, you pulled, was it Natalie? I think it was Natalie that pulled it. Uh, Justice reverse would be, not getting justice, or having a hard time getting justice. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't see the perpetrator. So let me know any questions you want me to ask too. Jersey says he wanted to pay a tab that he didn't have. Maybe he tried to pay a tab for someone and made someone jealous, which started the events. Yeah, I think he did something very innocent. His family friend who came on to Nancy Grace said, he's a good kid. He's not gonna push anybody's buttons, even if he was drunk. So I don't get the sense that he would be a troublemaker. That's what I'm sure. Can you imagine his parents heard that he was kicked out of a bar? I can only imagine them saying, "What? That just doesn't sound like him. Why would he be kicked out of a bar?" Sassy Hound, you said there was a video of what looked like three guys and a girl rolling by on those stand-up scooters, and they were walking back carrying what appeared to be something heavy. This was along the river. Okay, that's a good clue. I did not know that. Okay. And Roberto, you've picked up 3 males and a female. Eileen, you said a psychic said she was shown a couple who frequents that bar and singles out certain people to drug them, follow them, and then rob them. Said it's a big operation with organ selling. That's a lot. I hope the family is not considering something as dramatic as that, but that would be something else. Um, Natalie, you said, I'm just randomly shuffling. Nick's cards were counterfeit and accident to me. They're trying to play it off as an accident. Okay. So we've got this redhead reversed. This is somebody who, maybe she's down on her luck. I don't know. I hope it means that she will be interviewed, but they've got to interview those people in that bar. I mean, this is ridiculous. He was obviously drugged. And to say that it was accidental is just, of course, this is my opinion, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Nancy Grace thinks that too. And she doesn't believe the dry drowning either. I would definitely say, look again around his head. They said there was no injury, but remember, he's been in the water for a while. So look again. This would be the time now to look again if they could. All right. So I am shuffling. Yeah. Thank you, Fallon. All right. So, a question I want to know is, how do we find the perp? Ooh, my light just went on and off. God. I don't need this anymore, all of this Mercury retrograde, but how do we find this potential perpetrator if there is a perpetrator? Okay. Queen of Swords. And that's upright. By the water, by the way. Dark hair, by the way. And if you looked at my Instagram, you might have seen something. Let me see if I can pull it up. Instagram, you can find my Instagram at Forensic Astrologer. And okay, hold on. Okay, look at what I put. This was like a few hours ago. I just was like, oops. So I put that picture of the woman with black hair. And why did I say that? Because Saturn is so close. Like Saturn and Moon is the color black. And it was right next to Venus. So I thought, that's got to be a girl with black hair. Yet we're getting the redhead too. So, like, what is it? Because we're getting both with the cards, I mean, will she change the color of her hair? Yeah, I'll turn the ads off. Let me see if I can. Hold on one sec. I could do it from here. Okay, it should be good now. So, what do you guys think about this female? Yeah, I know. No water in the lungs. Yeah, that's a good call. Be real. Maybe wears a wig. Cross-dressing feminine male. I'm telling you, there's so much Pisces. There's something that has to do with the transgender, somebody who is, kind of abstract. So I agree, Eileen. They need to watch the footage from the bar. I bet they would see someone put something in his drink. And I'm sure they might have looked already. Hard to tell, but remember the rooftop because of Aquarius. Aquarius means the roof. So maybe something happened up there. And also, I think, who was it that said, Toy, it might have been you, roofy rooftop. So, because of that, because of that signature in the crime chart. Yes, roofy. So, all right, now I'm going to share this one. All right, so this was the Where is Riley horary chart, but you can still get information from this. And I'm going to keep the cards up there so you can think about it. And by the way, Teresa's not on here right now, but there's Teresa comes on sometimes, and she was talking about the spirit box, either that she did or she heard, and it was the night before Riley was found, and the spirit box said 8 miles, which is, I believe, the the distance. So it's kind of crazy. I want to know what spirit box that is. Okay, so everything's kind of a little bit more dispersed here in this chart. And of course, a horary is when it's something pops into your mind and you want to know it, just draw the chart, see if you can read it. And so I think I was preparing for a show or something, and I'm like, you know what? I need one more chart. Where is Riley? And yes, that's a good call, KK. Nice to see you. Yeah, 8 miles. Okay. Thanks for staying up. I know, the time difference. 4:21. Oh my God. Thank you for waiting for me too. I know I agree with you there, but I'm willing to do it. I know. I agree, Cicada. So, I wonder who the couple are allegedly. Let's pull some more cards. There have been bartenders that have drugged people. Too scary. All right. So let me go and, I didn't really think that I was going to do this. I didn't think I was going to center so much on the female, but it's really strong. And why would I say that? Well, because when you look at the crime chart, the cardinal houses are the first, the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th. Sometimes you can even put together the zodiac signs, all 4 of them, for a story. I've done that before. I haven't mastered that yet. Venus is money, by the way. And so, anyway, what's super important is, especially when you have a lot of planets in the 4th house, a cardinal house, uh, this is important. And if there's Venus in there, Venus doesn't always mean a female, but a lot of times it does. I would say 3/4 of the time it does, especially with the moon right there next to Venus. That's extra female energy. So it kind of it just pushes you in the direction that it's female. Yeah, I agree, Darlene. Okay. Electric medium spirit box was interesting. Thanks, Sassy Hound. Uh, you have one that's old school. Okay, Natalie, I keep feeling a bartender being paid to drug someone. God, would that be just frightening? So, going off of that, I really think that investigators need to look at the bartenders. They need to come in, whoever it is. I mean, obviously, it's better if it's law enforcement because they can get access to the records. But the whole world is looking at the Nashville police right now, and they need to act. They can't be trying to fight the family right now on deciding whether it's an accident or not. They're losing time, and they need to do those interviews. That whole bar needs to be interviewed. And I mean, easier said than done. But the other thing that I'm worried about is that we're in this Mercury retrograde in Aries. And it does seem as if there's going to be some things that really distract the country, maybe in the next week or two. And if that's the case, a lot of people are not going to be talking about this case. So it needs to be focused on right away. All right. So now I'm going to, God, that just gives me the chills seeing that redhead there. And then the Queen of Swords. This is somebody who knows what she's doing. And could this be somebody who just approaches people? I wonder I wonder if that's ever happened to anyone else, and if it has, you're free to call in, just send me an email. I'd be very interested in talking to you. Okay, so I'm shuffling the cards. Can you give us more information about the motive of this person or people? I think it might be more than one. Ace of Cups, okay. Success, I guess. A lot of cups in this, lot of cups. So talking about female energy, um, all the water signs. And, maybe it could be riches. I don't know. And can you clarify that? Can you give us another reason that these people potentially harmed someone in this bar, potentially harmed Riley? 10 of Swords reversed. So it was interesting how in the last show there was one of the cards that were reversed. It was just like this one. And the girl was on, and it keeps being females, but she was on the bank there. But it was reversed. And it was almost as if, that's the way Riley was found. He was found, basically upside down in the water. And I thought it was a no card, but it was basically literally in reverse. Okay, sometimes it seems to be a group of people, some in the bar, some outside the bar, to follow them. Trey, this is interesting. That bar is well known for many issues, including the most critical roofie drugging. I'm sure it's not just at that venue, but it's a large tourist area and highly populated during the warmer months. Now, of course, I can't validate that or, agree with it because it is your opinion. And, this show is for entertainment purposes only. Great to see you, Monique. Thank you for joining. And if you were already a member, thanks for joining again. Angel D, girl flirts with guy, girl partners spikes drunk, girl offers to meet guy outside, they follow and rob. Yeah, could he have been stalked? Maybe that's a question that I'd like to answer. And then we'll go to the chart for that because it does seem like that's a possibility because Mars rules the 6th house of stalking. Ooh. Oh, God. I didn't even ask a question, but all right. So we've got Hierophant and Temperance, 2 dudes, and seems as if the Hierophant is like staying within rules, but it's also because of that stairway, trying to, I would say over the long term, trying to stay with a business model. And the Temperance with the angel wings behind it. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? Okay, so there's no talks yet. I don't even care because if they say no, I won't believe it. After a few days, I don't think they can get any results. All right, so I'm going to go back to this and I'm actually going to draw the chart again. Crazy how it's March 8th, such a Scorpio number. And I'm actually going to pull the transit here. So let's see, March 8th, just such a nightmare for the family. And like I said, they live 6 hours away and they've had to go back and forth to try to figure out what happened. They must be absolutely exhausted. You just feel for them. And these people, they need to be brought to justice. Let's see. What time was it? Say around 9, I think it was like 9:50. He was caught on, maybe it was 9:53, caught on one of the cameras. And Nashville, I'll share it in a second. I'd like to see the solar return too. See what happens at the end of this year. Okay, so let's look at this. This is a solar return chart. And if you are interested in getting your solar return read, I can be found. A lot of people ask me this. So it's Astrology with Val as me. And, it's a great way to find out your prediction for the year and next year and figure out your life from the year before and the year before and when certain things happen to you. And all right, so this is, I'll keep that up for a second. Okay. So this is the solar return chart for the crime chart. All right. And so it doesn't look too much different, but the planets look a little bit, they change. It's not exactly like the crime chart. Hold on, let me turn this off. Okay. So we could consider this March 8th. March, April, May, June. Okay. This is a big shock coming in June. This will be probably early June because we've got early degrees here. June 8th, July 8th. So those perpetrators, whoever you are, you better run. You had better run because the police, there's something happening here. This is really manifesting here. Now, this could be, it looks like sometimes when Mars is right next to the Lord of the seventh house, which is the perpetrator, it shows they're right on their tail, that they've got them. But at the same time, with a square to Uranus, that can show somebody gets fired. Somebody on the force who didn't do something they were supposed to. Thank you. You better put your hands up. Yes. Yeah, that's possible. If he was. Oh, God. Yeah, I'd be interested because, you do look at certain cases and some people mention organ harvesting, which just sounds so ludicrous, but there are actual cases of that. Maybe we should do one of those in another show. But in this case, obviously, wasn't the case. Okay. In my opinion, he was defending a woman being harassed, and the one doing it too was intoxicated and was not happy with Riley. Got out of hand, and because Riley was a newbie, he was kicked out. Hi, Monique. Nice to see you. Okay. Do you see a confession in the chart anywhere, maybe like one person giving up another? All right. So this could be a good chart to show that this is the solar return chart. I like to look at Mercury. Mercury is a confession. Third house Lord is also a confession, and that would be Saturn. Okay, so Saturn could be a homeless person, somebody with dark features. And yes, in June, there's a person in here that looks like, and there's a trine here to Jupiter. There's talk to somebody. I don't know who it is. But now June, this would be July. July would be a good time for a confession with Neptune, though. I mean, these are two people. One might be talking to another. Sometimes, remember, Neptune is jail, it means incarceration. And so somebody might be talking from jail. And let's keep in mind, Venus rules the 12th house of jail, and Venus represents the seventh house lord. So I think there is a high chance that they will catch this person, even though historically that's not the case. These cases, so many of them just go, um, unsolved. I wonder if there's something on the dark web here that we can see that would show, kind of, because there's always a playbook for this stuff. Is there a playbook that has, any weight on the dark web? Let me see here. This is the crime chart. And I always like to look at part of fortune because that shows the success of somebody. And Mercury does show, can show speech. Um, hmm. It's like, what is that Neptune? I think it could be from jail. I really do. Yet, isn't it interesting that the redhead, notice, you see that Mars right there? God. Hold on. You can see Mars is in that chart, it was squaring, okay, part of fortune, meaning that this person now could show that the police they're not very successful, but it also shows that the perp is not successful. So thanks, Angel D. I know there's always a first. So I don't know if he was in his right mind to defend anyone. I wonder if they didn't all take a pill or two before they went out, or excuse me, on the way out and mixed with alcohol. It's a disaster. Okay, let me go back to this here. Yeah, if you want confessions, you're going to be looking for Mercury. Give me 1 second while I pull this chart. This one, I'm going to put in the slide deck here so that I can mark it up a little bit. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to do too, I wanted to pull the transit chart. Let me show you this one first. Okay. So weird how Mars was 19 degrees, the same as Uranus. So this is such a huge shock. I think that it really reflects what's going on with the Nashville police. But they are getting some help here. It might be from another police department, which would be this Aries, and they're sextiling this little group right here. I don't know who they are, but it's sextiling the police. Now, okay. Let me go back to this for a second and fast forward a little bit. Sometimes with the transit chart, once Mercury trines the perp, then they're more likely to talk. And that's a good thing because not just to the police, but they'll talk to their friends. And Oh boy, look at this. Look at this. This is July. Whoa. This is the perp right here. You see that? Venus squaring Uranus. I think something's going to happen and it's going to take a few months. Mercury retrograde, believe it or not, is really going to help everybody who is pitching in here. What we need is we need help for the family. They've got a GoFundMe. They need resources. They need private investigators. They need those investigators to work really well with the police and vice versa. And I think they're going to be able to find this because Uranus is squaring this person. Now, it could mean that, they unalive themselves because that's what Uranus represents. But there's going to be a huge shock to whoever did this. And I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. I really do. This is something coming up in the summer. I wish we didn't have to wait that long. So, yeah, I think it's possible. Wow. Yes. Okay. Well, don't forget to hit the like button if you like this show. Thank you so much for sticking with me tonight. And, for a last card, let's do a last card and then I'll say goodnight. But if there's anything next that we've got to consider for Riley, please let us know with these cards. And also, if there's something that I pulled, feel free to say something in the comments about what you think, like maybe Temperance or the Hierophant, what you think. Be very interested in what you have to say. Okay, Trey, thank you for saying that. That was really smart to go to the reviews. Okay. Didn't think about that. And, sometimes the investigators don't think about that because they're old school. They don't go online that much. So thank you, JSG. And all right, so one last card here. Give us something going forward for the family. Help us. Help us. All right. Communication. Ooh. Okay. Communication reversed. That tells me the phone. That tells me to look at other people's phones. Their data. Their data, their GPS. Something is off. That's what this is saying. There's something off about what somebody is saying. It doesn't sound right. Oh, I couldn't tell you because I lost my phone that night, or there's something, I think there's a lie. And can you clarify for us what this communication means? Yes. So that's going to be number one. How much communication can we get from that night? Thank you, Fallon. Oh, we got that before. And we got this with the other case that we did for Caleb, Saturn return. This is an old man and reversed. Age. Okay. So this could mean karma, but we need something that's a little bit more literal for that card. And that's something old. So that could be together, that could be old communication, an old phone, an old video. So maybe something returns. Saturn can often show returning. So, okay. All right. We'll have to think on that. But thanks again, everyone. And I'll see you this week for more astrology and crime.